What it do? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all Happy podcast. I am your coach and your host, Josh, here with the one and only,
his fired up co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And this morning I was fired up. I was just like, you know what? What am I messing up right now? Where can I improve? I'm ready for even more explosive growth. I felt really inspired and I started analyzing what do I need to do to optimize my routine? And that's what inspired this episode. It was a little bit selfish where I wanted to reflect on my own time and I wanted to make an incredible piece of content. And I think it's the most valuable when it's something fresh on my mind, something I'm working through, and really just reflecting on this really helped me realize what's worked for me in the past, what I'm going to do to improve more in the future. And I'm really just excited to jump into the topic, which is building a successful daily routine that works. And I added the that works for a reason, because it's real easy to come up with some super lavish, over the top, ridiculous routine where you meditate for 6 hours to start your day, followed by a 4-hour lift, and then you fast until you have your one special catered chef's meal. It's not realistic. So I want to talk about what actually is going to be a mover, what's totally doable in your day, and just some concepts to focus on. And the first thing, this is something I came across and it just stuck to me like glue, and it was the component of aiming for 3 daily wins. So we're so used to talking about morning routines, but I think when you break down a day as a whole and you analyze what makes a good day, and I've actually shared this on the story recently, like I had shared a good meal with a friend, time with a loved one, a great workout, and some time to like be outside, and that's a pretty good day. Like, it's crazy how you could think a good day needs to be jam-packed with all these crazy expensive things and experiences, but when you boil it down, like honestly, a good lift, good meal, time with friends, like that, it truly is a phenomenal day. So I love this component of the 3 daily wins. So the first being a physical win. So whether you're lifting, for myself, that's 5 times a week. And I always feel phenomenal when I complete a workout. I get dopamine, I get the benefit. I know I'm growing, I'm challenging myself. And by doing something hard like that, it makes the rest of the day feel easy. And this summer, I'm not a big swimmer. Background to me, I played water polo. I was like a lifeguard most of my life. And I was just in the pool so much as a kid that I absolutely despised it. But lately, I've been not pushing myself too hard. I'll just do head up breaststroke. I don't like getting my ears wet. Had issues with my ears in the past, but like I'm just meeting myself what's reasonable. And I'll just be like, I'm going to try and do 10 laps. I don't have a body for swimming anymore. I'm heavy. I stink. It's not ideal. It's hard. But when I do it, I'm like, this was hard. This was different. It was fun. And I feel so good after I've done it. Then I lay at that pool and I feel that accomplishment. And like, that is such a good day. Anytime I'm out on a walk, anytime Kyle's out running, I'm not running myself, but when Kyle's running, like, he feels good. It's a nice opportunity to enjoy that. So whatever it is for you, just bank one physical win in that day. And it could be as simple as a very simple walk, could be very complex, like doing something crazy. But if you have a physical win in that day, that is going to be a great start. The next is a mental win. So this could be reading, writing, creating, learning. And I think this is such an important one. And it's funny actually, because these are things I've been more or less applying to my children. Like for him, I want to do something physical with him each day, and I want to do something creative with him each day. So the component of either reading with him, doing some arts and crafts, doing something creative, this is very nourishing in its own way. And it's actually interesting to see that, like, after doing creative work or creating creative content, I saw a study, people are actually more productive and successful throughout the day, which was cool. And even as I do something like a podcast, which is a little bit different, but it's still creativity, it's still me exercising that, it's amazing how nourishing and a reflection of that is for the day. And then last but not least is spiritual wins. So I could be praying, meditating, studying, growing, actually just investing in yourself and taking some time with yourself and doing some extra learning. But if you are covering these 3 off in your day, you have a good day. And I know it's hard to really bank these in consistently, but if you can just say, hey, can I do one thing, even if it's a couple minutes, if it's reading one page, whether it's doing a 1-minute meditation, and even a great meditation expert had said one of the greatest things you could do is 1 breath in the day as your meditation practice, 1 intentional deep breath where you're in the moment, you're present, and you'd say, that's ridiculous. 1 breath is a waste of my time. I need to do something more intense. But it's like, how long if you said you need to do something more intense and you haven't done it? It's better to you to do something. I also shared recently the concept of reading 1 page. It could even be going on a 5-10 minute walk. Like, these are really small things, but by doing them each day and doing them consistently, you will notice that they will compound. So first and foremost, if you really look at your day from this 3 daily wins, it's such an easy way to actually navigate it and get out of the weeds of doing all these crazy million time hack things. So I wanted to start with there, and then we're going to get a little bit more deep as we progress through this episode.
I mean, this episode came from Josh reflecting, so that's going to bring me into number 2 is just, I really think we need some sort of reflection in the day, and this can come at any time. I do really believe for most people, if you were to spend 5 minutes in the morning and then 5 minutes before bed with a pen and paper, it can solve a lot of problems. In the morning, you can set your intentions, you can go through your biggest action tasks and, write down little things you're grateful for. Should only take a few minutes, but I do believe anytime like later on in the day, sitting down and reflecting on those action tasks you said you were going to do, maybe some wins from the day, and most importantly, some things you could improve to set you up for success for the next day is absolutely game changing. So I just know a lot of people who just consistently set the right intention, but they fail, but they never go back to the drawing board. They never spend time reflecting and being honest with themselves. And I think this is probably one of the hardest things to do for most people, is just to look yourself in the mirror and say, you're not trying hard enough. You don't have a proper routine to set yourself up for success for this. And just being able to say, hey, like, call yourself out and then make that change going forward. And I've had to do this to myself over and over again. It's never fun saying like, hey, you're being unproductive because of this reason, or just saying, hey, you could be better here. Because most of the time we want to just think like we're doing everything right. We don't even want to address it. Like, I know it's so easy to go about your day to day just thinking, hey, everything's all good. And then next thing you know, things explode and you've just like failed going to the gym for a couple weeks because you haven't sat down there and reflected. So this is a very important thing to consider for number 2.
Yeah, and my third piece of advice here is scheduling in priorities and being realistic. So going back to what I said at the first, and after doing some reflection, you might say, wow, I'm crushing the bottom 2 wins there. I have a great mental win. I'm good with my spiritual win, but I'm not doing anything physically, or whatever it may be. And you're going to need to say, how can I make time to do any of these things? And like I said, be realistic, start small. It doesn't need to be crazy. And it's so easy. And all too often, one thing I remember about being a personal trainer is someone would come in and I'd say, okay, what are you doing right now for going to the gym? They'd be like, I don't go at all. And I'd be like, okay, cool. How many sessions do you want to start with? I recommend 3 to get the ball rolling, move from there. And they're like, no, I want to be here every single day at 5 a.m. and I need you here with me. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. You're going to burn out. And they're like, no, you don't know me. I'm committed. And then oftentimes me and Kyle would oblige because we were starting out. Those people would fall off like clockwork within 2 weeks. It'd be all and then it'd be nothing. So remove that all or nothing and really just understand, like, how can you be realistic here? Schedule in 3 workouts to start, schedule in a couple healthy meals, schedule in some time for yourself, manage stress, do these things, schedule in some walks, and it is going to go such a long way. So the more you can be realistic with this, the more you are going to see success and actually see change. So this is a big one, and I'm really happy to share this tip here.
Yeah, next up, just making difficult decisions as easy as possible is absolutely game changing. So it's been said, I don't remember the exact number, but we have to make tons of decisions a day, especially nutritionally. I think there's somewhere in the 100 range of just like different choices of like how much to eat, where to eat, what should I have on the side. Like thinking of like nutrition, there's a million different things to think about. And then obviously working out, if you don't have a routine, there's also a ton of things to think about. So Josh has some great notes here. So nutritionally, there's obviously some great things to do to make it easier. So you don't have to just every single day think of like 500 different decisions within it. Simply pre-logging can help make things a lot easier. Just taking out MyFitnessPal, putting things earlier in the day to know, hey, I know I'm going here for lunch. Like Josh and myself go here all the time. I'm just going to put it in there. Dinner, here's what I'm going to have. You make the decision. It makes it a lot easier. So between pre-logging, prepping, like overall meal prepping as well, these things make it so much easier to stay on track and to just not have to worry about it for a couple hours on end each day and then make the wrong choice, which a lot of people will do. And then gym wise, like it's nice to have a routine. It's nice to have that consistency and know that when you go in there, you don't have to spend so much time just thinking about it. And it's just like, hey, I've got my program here. I'm all good to go. So a couple different things you can do is just, first of all, go at the same time. That alone takes away the decision of like, what time am I going today? If you have to sit there all day thinking of, and I've been there as well, I'm like, it's always on my mind, right? So I just go at the same time, make it simple for the most part. Even just having a trainer and a coach, it just makes it so much easier to set yourself up for success. And, obviously for our clients, like everyone's so busy. So our goal is to make things as optimized as possible. And if you are looking to learn more about how we can help you one-on-one, get guaranteed results, no strings attached, like everyone's busy and everyone wants more support, like just to get to the next level. And that's why we specialize in this. Just check out our website, first link down below, colossusfitness.com. And we'd love to help you one-on-one.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to be held accountable to it. And the easiest thing is to actually take it out of your control, right? When there's someone who's an expert and we can make it easy for you, you definitely want to utilize that. And even for me, when we had our new baby, I'm like, nutrition's going to be harder than ever. Took advantage of a meal prep service. So I think it's being honest with where you're at. And if you have a lot going on with your work and your kids, having someone who's going to be there, holding you accountable, throwing that towel back at you when you want to quit, helping you overcome obstacles, helping you not overthink parts of the journey, it's immensely popular and immensely successful rather, and will go quite a long way. So definitely be sure to check out our website more to see how we can help you. And we'd love to help you see that change. And then next but not least is momentum carries. So we're big on morning routines because winning your morning just goes so far. And that's why we love that adage of like, make your bed. It's just that component of when you wake up, stacking one small win. When you wake up with your alarm and you're not sleeping in, if you are sleeping in rather, you're already behind. You're already behind schedule. You already are telling yourself, I cut corners, things don't need to be done well. But when you jump out of bed, you have a plan for the morning, you get after it and you do things that are going to help empower you and motivate you. It makes it so much easier to win out that day. So I can't stress this enough. For myself in the morning, I like to be off my phone as long as possible. I like to eat the frog, which I shared in our broadcast messages, which sounds funny, but that's me doing something hard in the morning. It's something as it is to check my texts and check my emails and these different things. I need to say, what's the thing that I need to do right now? What's that thing I've been putting off? What's that thing that's hard? And when I start my day by battling that out, it makes it way easier to further carry that momentum throughout the morning. So this is a big one. Don't neglect it. Your mornings can be immensely powerful. Even if you don't have a lot of time, you can still schedule in a lot of wins here.
Yeah, and next up, number six, is just doing a time audit. So this is going to kind of bring me back to number 2 where we were talking about reflection, but this is going to be a reflection of your time. So you want to remove as much junk from your day and free up as much time as possible. And honestly, one of the greatest ways to do this is just for 1 week, keep a log of where you're spending your time and where it's going towards. So I've heard a lot of very successful individuals like on podcasts and audiobooks, they'll talk about how you just gotta, essentially when you look at someone's day and what they do, like let's say you were just take a look at everything I do in my specific day, you should be able to tell what I'm working towards, what my goals are, what my ambition is. And if let's say I want to be a crazy jack bodybuilder and I want to reach the next level fitness wise, but all you see is Netflix, scrolling, go to work, do whatever, and you don't see any of the gym, you don't see any meal prep, you don't see anything, that's not actually my goal. Like that's not what I'm working towards. And I think it's so easy to just like, once again, not want to reflect and not want to call yourself out on this because once again, it is hard to see if you write down how much Netflix or how much scrolling, especially like once again, calling myself out, I'll have to set my limits and I can definitely get carried away with this myself personally, but I just think it's something so rare for people to do. So keep a time audit, call yourself out, set a reminder for 1 week to say, hey, where can I optimize my time more? Where can I use my time more wisely? And I promise you, it can save you so much time in the long run. And last thing I'll say on this, I saw someone the other day, he had said on his Instagram story, and I just thought it was great. It was like, if you're reading this right now, you have enough time to log your food. So I thought that was a great call out because once again, this is something I hear very often of just people who are like, hey, I don't have enough time for this, but then they'll use it doing something else that may not be as productive and kind of a bit of a time suck, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's number 6.
Yeah. And once you do this time audit, most of you will likely see that your night night times are just not efficient. And it's not to say you need to be productive all the time, but I love the adage that nothing good happens after 8 p.m. Just most often, this is where we'll spend extra time on screens. We'll stay up too late. We'll eat snack foods or junk food we perhaps don't need to be eating. So if you really want to separate yourself, and one thing I've been challenging myself with is to win out the nights. So this is a great time to reflect on your day. I love the component. Something I heard today is actually writing down some of your wins from the day. And it's easy to say, oh, I already know what they are, but you'll forget them real quick. But when you can map a few wins and it's like, I didn't want to go to the gym, but I went there and I was so glad I did. Putting that on paper is going to like secure that in your mind. In the future, when you don't want to go, that's going to be extra fuel to make that happen. You can set out your clothes for the next day. You could take care of some annoying things. Like for us, we like to do a quick tidy and run the dishwasher before we relax. You could get your food ready for the next day. There's so much opportunity in this time that kind of gets thrown away into nothingness, and people will use this most often to push themselves further from their goals. But if you take a couple minutes at night, it's amazing how much of a difference it can make you. And the biggest one of all is just getting to bed on time, doing some reading, letting yourself wind down, and actually getting a good sleep. So that should be your number one priority each night, and that will definitely help separate yourself and get you to a new level.
Yeah, next up, last but not least, is just reflecting on your goals to focus you. And once again, you'll see that keyword reflect. The main reason this is important is because a lot of people will set goals. So you'll hear everyone say, set goals, like, right down at the start of the month, like what you're working towards, New Year's resolution, let's think of my goals, but they'll never reflect. They'll never go back and think of what they started to set the intention of on that first day of the month, the first day of the week, the first day of the year. So reflecting is one of the greatest ways to just keep yourself grounded and understand what you're working towards. And I heard an example recently. It was like, if you go into a car and you just don't put on the map and you just you aimlessly start driving somewhere, you're going to end up somewhere, but it's probably going to be at the wrong destination, or it's just going to be in the middle of nowhere, I guess you could say. And that's like a goal. Like if you have that goal and that end destination, you'll be able to know exactly where you're working towards. So even for me, when I know that, hey, I'm working towards this business goal, growth goal, fitness goal, I can consistently put in that work day to day to get me there, instead of just aimlessly wandering with my head down, just unsure of what to do. So yeah, number 8 is going to be reflect on your goals to focus you. And with that, just want to say thank you so much for spending time with us today. I really hope that this list of daily habits can help you build a more successful routine that actually works. As Josh always says, knowledge is only power when applied. So don't just take notes here. Don't just think about how you're going to do something. Actually take action to get to that next level, to build a successful routine. Once again, thank you very much. And if you're looking to get to the next level, get guaranteed results one-on-one, I promise you, you will not want to miss out on clicking down below that first link, which is our website. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.